مرحبا كيف حالك؟ كيف حالك؟ أنا بخير الحمد لله. Welcome to يوم رقم 9. 30 دقيقة on the clock. Here's the theme of the day. You can write this: one true thing a day. One true thing a day. The last true thing that I thought of to say in Arabic was I returned to Chicago. Think of the most relevant true thing of yours today. It could be significant, it could be the tiniest thing. It's really snowy. That's a relevant true thing. Once you've decided on that true thing, figure out how to say it. We've already developed enough patterns that it should fit however you say that thing, that true thing that you're trying to say. You should find that it already fits into one of the patterns. So for example, I returned to Chicago is going to fit into my verb timeline, past tense. How do you say I did some verb? I studied Arabic, darastu. I remember that? So I can ask ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT how to say something. And that true thing that you're going to say and write each day is a thing one. Wahed. Why? Limadha. Right? Limadha. Wahed. Well, because it's a statement. So I returned to, so ChatGPT says, oh, okay, so I returned is rajatu. Say it with me, rajatu. You may not have returned from somewhere as your true thing, but at some point you returned from somewhere. It happens almost every day. Every time you go somewhere, God, inshallah, you return. So this verb is useful, right? ChatGPT tells me that rajatu is I returned. And we know from our verb timeline session that it's the to ending that makes it I did this thing. I studied, darastu. I went, dhahabtu. I wrote, katabtu. I read, qara'tu, and so on. Rajatu to Chicago. Let me check Chat GPT. It says ila XYZ. As always, any one statement is infinite statements. You just switch out the variables. So you may not have returned to Chicago, but you returned to Miami. Like you return to, so rajatu ila Chicago. I returned to my house. House is bait. My house, bait e. Oh yeah, because ism is name and ismi is my name. Like I said, everything you're going to want to say now is quickly you're going to realize it falls into place with some pattern that we've already seen. There's not that many patterns in Arabic. And in fact, there's not that many patterns in language. Language is built to be learned. That's why it takes a kid like 2 seconds to learn it when you learn your first language. I drank coffee. Sharibtu qahwa. It's the same patterns over and over. So beiti, say it with me, beiti, my house. I returned to my house, or I came home, I returned home. So, rajatu ila beiti. That's going to be part of your story sooner or later, probably today, inshallah. You go somewhere, and then rajatu ila beiti. Now, if you're thinking, well, my truest thing is I just cooked breakfast, or like I just did this, or I did that a week, whatever's the most significant thing, that's fine. Just choose your one true thing a day. By the way, on the one true thing a day, a possible, not objection, but like a possible counter sort of like thought to, well, what if I did 10 a day? What if I should do 100 a day, or shouldn't I? I don't know, maybe one is best because if you really go all in on one, I figure you're more likely to remember that one thing. I'd rather truly learn one thing in a day than like theoretically learn 50 things when I'm like, "Oh, what?" I don't, if you ask me what those 50 things were, I don't even remember what the 50 things were, much less how to say them. But if I remember that truest thing, it sets down another pattern later on. I'll go, "Oh, that's right. Of course I can say that because I said that on day 9." So I would argue for investing deeply in that one. That's why I'm one true thing. Okay, so my deal is Rajatu ila Chicago. I know you return from somewhere sometimes, so tell me, Rajatu ila Beiti or Rajatu ila Kansas, whatever it is. Tayyib. Now, after you choose that one true thing, let's turn it into form 2, which is a second person, not necessarily second person. It's a yes no question. Did he return? Did your sister return? Your friends and so on. But in this case, since it's Rajatu, we'll make it. Did you return? So you would say, "Hey Tony, did you return to Chicago? I see your background is back to non-Mexico. So Rajatu, you want to ask me? All right. Say Tony, Raja. That's the Ein. You're gonna say Rajata ila Chicago. The 3 is the Ein. That's a letter that we've heard a bit. It's the letter we use to say ought to be. It's not ought to be. It's if you can get it down there. Ought to be. Just do your best. Rajatu. Rajata. Could add the hal there, as always. The yes no question. We'll sneak the hal. Hey, you back in Chicago? هل رجعت إلى بيت إلى شيكاغو you can say هل رجعت إلى شيكاغو يا تون I go back to one نعم رجعت إلى شيكاغو طيب speaking to a female رجعت becomes رجعتي can bring the hal right down. It's like a math formula. Bring the hal, carry the. Speaking to a female, you'd say hal rajati ila New York. Hal rajati ila. All right. Preparing for conversation, the back and forth tennis game of conversation. Tony, hal rajata ila Chicago. Nam. Go back to one. And rajatu ila Chicago. واحد اثنين ثلاثة form, ثلاثة is going to be an open-ended question. So where did you return to? Maybe. Why did you return? No. When did you return? That's probably the best question, all right? Hey, ChatGPT, how do you say when? It'll tell you, it'll sound it out for you too. When is meta? Say it with me, meta. Meta. How can we remember meta? Well, it looks like meta, as in like meta data or like meta, metaphysical. It deals with time and space. It's completely unrelated as far as I know, but like meta just has a mnemonic device. Meta, when, time, metaphysics, meta. Tayyib. As always, the verb container from 2 drops down after the open-ended question word, the who, what, where, when, why, how. Meta rajata. That simple. When did you return, Tony? Meta rajata. You keep the conversation going. If this were a different conversation, hold that thought. I've got meta rajata and meta rajati. All right. Hey, you back in Chicago? When did you return? Rajata. هل رجعت إلى شيكاغو يا توني؟ نعم رجعت إلى شيكاغو. متى رجعت؟ When I said hold that thought, If this were a different conversation, instead of the starting point, the one being Rajatu ila Chicago, if it were whatever it is, the pattern would be exactly the same. All conversations are the same. It's just that a variable is different. Okay. So it seems like it's infinite. Like if you look at all possible things you can say in Arabic or any language, it looks infinite in the same way that numbers appear infinite. Like if you look at all the numbers, you go, oh, there's infinite numbers. But there's actually only 10 numbers, 0 through 9. So in the same way that if I open up any book here, I go, dude, I've never seen that. It's never like it never repeats. Like you'll never find something repeated. So it must be coming from an infinite source. Yes, it's coming from an infinite source, but it's infinite in its compatibility and its mix and match ability. That's the thing. Grammar is like the basic set of digits, 0 through 9. All of a sudden, it doesn't look that vast. It's just 10 digits. It's the combinations that make it seem infinite. The problem with language learning, and this is like the worst in Arabic, is that they show you they make you think it's infinite. And then once you get there, it's even more infinite than you thought. You go, okay, hold on a second. What's the basic, like break it down, and what's its simplest form? After 9 days of Arabic, we're almost at a place where we know we've seen all the patterns. Like we're close. We're close to having seen enough patterns that everything will just fall into one of those patterns. طيب. رجعت. Ask me when. Meta. Right? If I told you, oh, I did this. Meta. I did that. Meta. See how it's the same thing? So if you said, Tony, meta rajata ila Chicago, I can do this on my own. I am doing it on my own, right? Like I could sit here with a notebook and write out my sequence of conversation. If you said meta rajata ila Chicago, ya Tony, it's my turn to respond. Hey, ChatGPT, how do you say yesterday? Oh, in modern standard Arabic, it's ams. Ams. A-M-S. Ams. Okay. Just borrow from before. How do you say, I returned to Chicago yesterday? Rajatu ila Chicago ams. Rajatu ila Chicago ams. Say I returned home yesterday. Rajatu ila Beiti ams. Say I returned to Canada yesterday. Rajatu ila Canada ams. Did you return yesterday? Ask me yes, no question. Hal rajata or rajati ila XYZ yesterday? Hal rajata ila Chicago ams, ya Tony? Hal rajati, speaking to female, hal rajati ila at New York ams? Nam, go back to 1. Rajatu ila Chicago ams. It just creates that circle. And then question 3, open-ended question, could just still be, when did you return? Or perhaps we could completely change the subject. How was the trip? How was the flight? And then you go from there. How was the trip? Oh, the trip was great. Okay? Like you can walk through your own and just have ChatGPT plug in the variables. Okay? At this point, you may be wondering, I would be wondering, well, if I can say anything that I want to say, what should I say? Or what should I learn next? That's the most common question I get is, okay, I get this, but like, what's the sequence? Because we're used to a textbook that says, well, next week you learn this. And there's like some comfort in being like, yes, 2 months from now you learn this. And then, but that's just setting yourself up for the kind of failure that often happens in language classes was, I got through the textbook, but I still can't speak the language because you're waiting for They make you wait. They make you think that, oh, this is the magic sequence. No, the sequence is right here in front of you. Okay, so the first way to think about this is with a question. And that question is, what do I want to say, and to whom? I'm going to write that in there. You can write that too as a sort of mantra. What do I want to say, and to whom? If you can answer that question, or even if you can't necessarily not always answer the question, if you can just at least remember to ask the question, then you'll never be lost. I think of that question as the North Star in all of language learning, the most important question that you can ask yourself at any moment. What do I want to say, and to whom? Because if you can ask that question in this classroom setting, okay, I'm being told that I need to learn this today. That's in the book today. That's today's lesson. Like, but what do I want to say, and to whom? Well, maybe I don't want or need to say, all of the names of like the kitchen utensils or something, because that's today's lesson, So what do I want to say, and to whom? Well, I want you to ask me, when did you get back? Like, I know we're going to talk. I know that I'm going to talk to that guy at the store who speaks Arabic next time I go in there. You understand? Like, so what do I want to say to him? I'm not going to just name the colors or of the rainbow or count to 10, but there's a good chance I might ask him XYZ. So thinking extremely practically, what do you want to say, and to whom? The 1, 2, واحد اثنين ثلاثة notebook style that we're doing here, statement, رجعت, etc. There's a paradigm that we're going to draw together here that should make it very clear how you can keep this rolling, even if you're not always sure exactly what you want to say to him. You can use this device that I'm about to show you to generate ideas of things that you might want to say, right? So here's how you do it. We're going to put 5 dots, and I'll show you exactly how we put them. So do this with me. Dot at the top, come down 2, 3 lines, 2 dots evenly to the sides, come down another 3, 4 lines, and put 2 dots closer together. This would be a star if you drew it like that. It would be a pentagon. If you drew lines that way, it would be a star and a pentagon, and so on. It's a little body. It's like a little Da Vinci, like, human. Here's how it works. The top dot is topic. We're going to label it topic. Okay. This is a generator that works obviously for Arabic and every language. It's what topic, what do I want to say? So what topic am I going to talk about? Well, we can talk about your trip to XYZ. We can talk about the weather. We can talk about what you're doing right now. We can talk about handheld regalia. What is this? We can talk about pointing at regalia, which is 2. We can talk, and so on. It doesn't matter. There's no limited time. In fact, your topic might be different than the next. In fact, your topic in many ways will be different than the next person's, because look, I'm a teacher, but he's a dentist, and he's a doctor, and she's a lawyer, and so on and so forth. So your topics, it's whatever topic you want. The patterns will be the same. Okay. Now, as soon as you've thought of a topic, let it be the weather, since everyone at some point can talk about that, no matter what. Your topic flows into what? Flows into a question. So if the topic is the weather, the question could be, how's the weather? How's the weather today? How's the weather in Utah? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it snowing? Is it raining? There's more than one question per topic. So you can even do something like this just to kind of, out of all possible questions, you choose one question from that topic. That's going to be my question. So on my next available line, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, hey, ChatGPT, how do you say this thing? How's the weather? How's the weather is kaifa. Let's do that just for fun. Say it with me. Kaifa. We've had when, meta. How, kaifa. Kaifa haluka. How's your condition? Kaifa. And then you say the weather, which is tox. Al tox becomes a tox. Kaifa a tox. Okay. Could be any topic, any question, but we're going to do weather a tox. How's the weather? Kaifa a tox. Right? Now, one thing is always 1,000 things. So you could say Kaifa a tox today. اليوم. كيف تقصى? Call your friend. كيف تقصى اليوم? What do I want to say to whom? I have a friend in XYZ country. Hey, how's the weather today in Jordan? You know, like, كيف تقصى اليوم في الأردن? كيف تقصى اليوم في المغرب? كيف تقصى اليوم في العراق? كيف تقصى اليوم في مصر? كيف تقصى, right? Now, this multiplies very quickly because for every question, multiple answers. All right, so I'm going to do multiple arrows here, but out of all possible answers, you choose one answer. Topic, question, answer. Okay, as soon as we complete this wheel, you'll see, okay, I can just put a topic in the top. It's like turn the machine on and just watch it go, boom, 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 bah. Look around your room. Books is the topic now. Looking, you know. Do you like to read? Do you have many books? What's the last book you read? Answer, answer, answer to all of those questions. This thing is multiplying. Topic, question, answer. And then here's the deal. Once you have topic, question, answer, the next point on the wheel is verb. All right. So if the topic is your trip and the question is, when did you get back? The verb cup. Can we fit a quick verb cup in here? I'll do it real quick and then you do it. I found space for rajatu. I know I'm jumping off of the weather topic. So pretend the topic was traveling. And when did you? Oh, so meta rajata, like we did. Rajatu. Let me make sure I can extract that verb from my answer. Let that be, that's the statement for sure. Rajatu, yani, I returned. And in that cup goes, oh, rajatu ila XYZ. Rajatu ila Chicago amps. Tayyib, take that verb cup and turn it into form 2, of course. Hal rajata ila Chicago amps, ya Tony. Hal rajati ila California amps. Nam rajatu ila Chicago amps. Tayyib. The last point is we know that any verb can contain infinite vocabulary. Which means that our final point we shall write as vocabulary. And there's, 1, 2, 3 or more. So I could say rajatu verb ila XYZ at XYZ point in time. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. Final point on the wheel is that vocabulary often becomes the new topic. Okay, that's how it completes the circle. Because if you said, okay, how was your trip? When did you get back? I got back then. How did I got back? Yes, you got back. I got back. Rajatu ams. Where'd you return to? Rajatu ila Chicago. Chicago is the vocabulary. Oh, Chicago, cool. Yeah, I was there last. Chicago, I love it. This place, this that. Now we're talking about Chicago, and the circle, the cycle begins again. The vocab ila Chicago. Now the new topic is Chicago. Oh, Chicago. Ask me a question. You like living in Chicago? I like living in Chicago. I'm turning my page, starting over with Wahed. Last time we met, we talked about I like this or that. Oheb, remember? Major verb starting point. I like things. Oheb. Oheb on Eskun fi XYZ. No, Oheb on Eskun fi Chicago. Okay. You just got back to where you live, let's say. Do you like living in that place? Oheb on Eskun fi that place. Tayyib. Some people say, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm just here for a little bit and I'm out. La oheb an eskun fi Chicago. You always have the option, right? Point 2 is going to be a yes/no question. Have toheb, same pattern. We just did this. Like soon it'll be hard for me to come up with something that isn't from a pattern that we already know. I'm going to be looking for something new, to some way to reinvent the wheel. And you say, Tony, don't reinvent the wheel. Like it's like I already got the wheel. That's the wheel. Liking living in a place is the new topic. Somehow that's how conversation works. As soon as now we're talking about, the Bears game, the football. Now the football. Now we're talking about football. No, that's how it goes. It has this. Okay. Ask me, Tony, hal toheb on teskun fi XYZ. And I'm just going to bring this down. Teskuni. Review. You know this from last time. Quick yes/no question here, Tony. Hal tohaban teskun fi Chicago? Hal tohabin, speaking to a female, hal tohabin an teskuni fi Chicago? Yeah, Tony. And then open-ended question, if you can think of one. Sometimes I leave it, to be honest. I can't think of a really good yes/no or open-ended question. Well, maybe why? We can say limada. Say limada. Yeah. We have meta. Kaifa. Limada. Ask me, Tony, limada. Just bring the verb down. Pattern is so predictable. Limada toheb or limada tohebin on teskun. I'm just going to scribble out the end. Look at this. Limada toheb an teskun fi Chicago or limada tohebin an teskuni fi Chicago. And that brings us back to Wahed. I like living in XYZ place, New York, California, London, Tokyo, okay? Because the weather is beautiful. No. Let's say that just for fun. Oheb an eskun fi Chicago, li'ena atox jamil. All right? This is going to be a bit ironic, like a blizzard, but this will be the last thing. Say it with me. Oheb, write it with me. Oheb an eskun fi Chicago. Because li'ena, go back, so you borrow from the previous cycle. The wheel, the topic was the weather. Atox. Say it with me. Atox. How can you remember atox? Tuck your shirt in because it's cold. I don't know. Some weird mnemonic device. Anything goes when it comes to mnemonic devices. Atox is beautiful. Jamil. Li'ena. Atox is nice. Jamil. Atox jamil. 5 seconds on the clock or so. All right, let's say you live in San Diego and that's the actual reason. Then you would say, "Oh, heban askun fi San Diego, li'ana atox jamil." Tayyib. We don't have time for a 2 or a 3, but you do. You could say, "Oh, do you like living in San Diego because the weather? Hal tohaban teskun fi San Diego li'ana atox jamil." Is that the reason? Hal tohabin an teskuni fi Atlisco, Mexico li'ana atox jamil? I say that's exactly right. Naam. Oheban askun fi San Diego li'ana atox jamil. So we're just preparing for conversation. What do you want to say and to whom? Think of that first, right? Because if you keep your eye on the North Star, no matter where you go, you'll generally be going in the right. So what do I want to say and to whom? I could see myself talking about this topic. Okay, good. Very good start. So what should I ask? Yeah, if I'm talking about where you live and if you like living there and the weather, all good. Okay, well, how's the weather there? Weather's nice here. It's the verb. Tox jamil. No verb for that sentence. Exactly. Vocab. Nice. Jamil. Very nice. Jamil jiddan. ChatGPT can help you come up with this. You just come up with your own wheels. Tayyib. Mumtaz, as always, any comments or questions are welcome in the post at the bottom of this video. And have fun. So remember, language learning is a creative process. You're allowed to say whatever you want, and you're quickly finding yourself able to say anything you want, inshallah. Tayyib. Ma salama.